take off.
So we
the
need to
button.
restart.
This is why you tune into the stream, so you can see.
This is
trials and
exclusive
tribulations.
content
This is
now
exclusive content.
until we start over.
Yeah.
What you're seeing. Oh God, give me a second.
I need a hot reset.
Still gonna be an intro, but it was from the beginning.
And welcome back to the LooneyBin Podcast for the second time tonight. Second time's the best time. I'm your host, Preston.
I'm Patrick.
I'm Nate.
And I'm flustered. And tonight, we're sorry we're late. We were just filming.
No, tell them why we're really late.
Okay.
Tell them we're giving the whole scoop.
We're really late, guys, because we just got a new computer. And, there were actual bugs in there. And we had to pick them out. And they were not just bugs, they were nanobots.
They were tasty. What?
Yeah, nanobots that tasted great.
Yeah, we sent Patrick in there. He has an extensive history of dealing with cybernetic.
I have a sort of anteater's tongue.
Yeah,
An anteater's tongue and a...
it's kind of like Transformers. I think it's Dark. Is it Dark of the Moon?
Is it the one that turns into the fucking...
Oh,
the girl,
God.
The girl who seduces.
Oh, I think I meant the one that turns
God.
into the blender.
No,
not that one. The one that's hot.
That was fucky.
That gets like the she. Has
So
the
is she hot the
tongue.
whole movie and
That
then
was
until the
fucky.
end, and then she's revealed to be a
she's
robot?
Revealed, she seduces Shia
Yeah.
to cheat on his girlfriend
Shia
in the dorm.
Oh.
In the dorm rooms.
You know, I don't think I've ever seen a full Transformers movie. I feel like
Good
I feel like
for you.
Transformers.
I think when I was 11 and I saw that movie for the first time, I was like, I think this Michael Bay guy is full of shit.
What?
Yeah,
At
right.
11?
At 11?
Mm-hmm.
No, you ate it up. I bet.
No.
You can't not think those are cool at 11. I think Transformers
who
is
I
one of
am.
those movie series that is always on TV.
Oh yeah.
You know,
FX.
it's one of those. It's one of those movies that are just always playing on TV on any. Like, I bet we could turn the TV on right now, find any given channel, and there will probably be Transformers on it.
What do you mean any given channel?
I'm just saying, out of all the channels,
If you turn
one
on,
of them has
Oh,
Transformers on
okay.
it at this
It's
moment.
on so often that even though we don't have cable,
Yeah.
we'll still be able to find it.
Yes, anywhere we scour the internet, found it.
Yeah.
Do you guys like Transformers generally? I like it. I like them.
So the only
Big
time
old
I
robot.
ever played Transformers was out at recess.
You didn't watch the cartoons?
Never watched the cartoons.
Play Transformers?
Yeah, played them.
Where you pretend to
Like-
be a car, and then you pretend to be a big man, and then you pretend to be a car.
Yeah, maybe Patrick was involved. I don't remember.
Pretend to be a big
All I remember
man.
is we shot
Guys,
Mitchell's
I-
tire, and he said we missed.
I
And
was
we had this
homeschooled. I
big
didn't-
argument about whether we hit his tire with
Yeah.
our gun or not.
Wow.
I wasn't there. I was playing Wizards. I played mostly Wizards.
Wizards is fun. Yeah.
I played Wizards. I played
I
Percy
played
Jackson
Pokemon.
Demigods. I was the only son of Hephaestus in the whole group because I wanted to build lightsabers.
Who's Hephaestus?
Asbestos.
Hephaestus is the god of Hephaestus is the god of the forge.
Oh.
Okay, so
Sorry,
he's
sorry.
the builder. He builds things, the technology,
Okay.
the weaponry, the armor. He has the Aegis.
Is there like a test you can take, kind of like Harry Potter, where you can see what house you're sorting
No,
into?
definitely that doesn't exist.
Yeah, right.
I'm sure there's hundreds of those.
And would you actually be the son of Hephaestus in that test?
I don't care. I make my own
his
destiny.
soul, he's
okay?
You
As-
forge your
asbestos.
own destiny.
I make my own destiny, and when I was 10, I decided that I was Hephaestus because I wanted to be unique. Nobody else would ever do that, and I thought it would be cool to I wanted to make motorcycles and stuff just out of
thin air.
Oh.
yeah. I wanted to be a genius,
You're just inventing and creating,
inventing, creating,
nanobotting,
circumventing.
anything. What is a movie you guys can recall that was on the TV at random hours of the day?
So that was kind of so. I think that maybe this is a common thing, but all we had was basic cable when I was a kid. And so Saturday afternoons after cartoons were over and Sunday afternoons,
Right.
I would kind of just browse the 10 channels that we had. And every once in a while, there'd be a show on or a movie. And usually it was a movie that, like, questionable if I should be watching this, if
Right.
parents would be okay with it.
Right.
But I watched it anyway. And it was like the TV edit, so it's like basically PG-13 dumbed down.
Movies like Ants with the Z.
Ants with the Z.
No.
Never seen it.
So more like movies
pretty
like movies like Rush Hour 3
Oh,
with
gosh.
Jackie Chan and the other guy.
3.
This
which
is
I
bringing-
want to watch again because I haven't watched it
This is
since I
stirring-
was like
No.
11. What?
Oh, I have it even better.
Answer.
When my parents need me to shut up, first of all, fuck you.
What?
You're done. You're cut off.
Because of Rush Hour?
No, I have something better to talk about relating to Rush Hour. That's all I'm saying. Okay. What you said about Rush
my
Hour.
memory, my childhood.
What you said about Rush Hour was a fine means to an end. But what I have to say about Rush Hour, I think, will put us on a better path.
Okay, good.
Okay.
Yeah, okay, great.
My parents, I would sit at the high chair.
Mhm.
I was 2 years old.
How do you remember this? Or is this a story
This
told
is
to
a
you?
story I've been told. I trust. I guess, for whatever reason, I trust it.
Okay, I would
I
trust
had
it.
I didn't speak until I was almost 3. I didn't speak. I had all the
You were just
telltale
pondering
early signs of
early onset autism.
exactly.
Okay,
But my parents didn't know that because they were not educated on that.
that's okay.
Anyways, my favorite things to watch in the high chair, it was a little VHS TV,
Mhm.
and the VHSs that they had were Rush Hour 2,
No way.
Men in Black 1,
Yep.
and Star Wars Empire Strikes Back.
Hell yeah.
Oh.
So your parents were cultured AF.
But I was 2 years old and I just watched those 3 movies.
Well, yeah, I
and
would turn-
my mom would fast forward through the part of Men in Black where the bug alien infects Vincent D'Onofrio because it freaked me out when I was 2. But I got to watch the rest of it, and I got to
Yeah.
watch Rush Hour 2.
I would do that to my kid. I would put anything on. They're not going to remember it, or you think it subconsciously festers in their mind.
It must have done something. I also ate a lot of
What part-
cottage cheese.
Yeah, what part of your mind do you
True.
think you got from Rush Hour 2?
That's the question.
I feel like there's a
That I'm
sweet spot.
posing.
You know, there's a spot in childhood that developps nostalgia, but there's also there's too early to develop
There's
the
before
nostalgia.
that, and that's where I was.
And there's a after. I mean, after is relative, but like, I think there's a sweet spot, and I would say, what, 8, 9, 10 for nostalgia for 20.
Okay.
Like, that's what time you would want to go back to.
And like
No,
everything
for
before that was
developing-
kind of
for developing nostalgia within your child. What age would you expose them to
yeah.
content? to
Oh.
When you have
Oh.
you have a sense, you're at the age where you have a sense of self,
right.
but you're also pure and innocent, and the things that you're taking in, as long as they are like a baseline level of good and cool, you're just gonna eat it up, and it's gonna become like a memory.
Right.
I think late elementary school, early middle school. For me, personally. Maybe
Okay.
it's different for everybody, and it
Yeah.
probably is.
Probably is.
That makes more sense than to
like what are the
generalize.
video games you played in like 5th grade? What are the
MLB
what are the-
2K10.
Yeah, round third, and he's heading for the plate.
Exactly.
Right?
Stuff like that.
And
Patrick's
what are the
dad making
shows?
popcorn. You know, it's like it's
Mhm.
around that time,
Except I do have a counter point.
which is
That's when we watched Avatar.
Yep.
That's when Avatar came out for us, and we
The
watched
Airbender or the Blues?
the
Blues.
the blue aliens.
the hair
I don't-
sex.
And I don't really so like it doesn't mean that everything is gonna be like important, but like
No.
I watched Karate Kid over and over and Back to the Future over and over, and that feels like childhood things. They're not like my favorite things, but they were.
Right. Yeah.
They were.
Yeah.
That counts for something, and I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
I think I've kept that part of me maybe because I still say that Madagascar is one of my favorite movies, and maybe that is just because it's a fucking good movie.
It
you
is
know?
a good movie.
It is like it has bits and like it's funny and like I think it still holds up.
Yep.
But like, I just remember I also remember my sister really liked it. So then I would be like, I love this movie, you know, like whatever. But then I actually did love it. But I think, you know, now there's plenty more movies that are better than Madagascar, right? Like, I've lived
Madagascar: Escape to Africa, for
Right.
instance. A
Yeah.
much better movie.
I've lived 13 more years of movie watching experience. I now know that Madagascar isn't pinnacle cinema. But I think for me, the nostalgia factor almost just plays more than the good factor. You know.
Mm-hmm. It's interesting that you say that you think the nostalgia was generated in part from knowing the reaction that your sister had to it.
Right.
Of like knowing those emotions and remembering those good emotions. Because when I saw Madagascar for the first time, it was in the movie theater, and it was me and my mom on a date, and it was just us, and it was like a cute little like mom and son date.
Perfect.
And we both were crying laughing in the movie
I thought
theater.
she like hated it. Okay.
No, she loved it. We were both like literally crying laughing in the movie theater, and it was just us two sitting in the seats next to each other. And so I think that has something to do with it also.
Yeah.
I think my Madagascar memory is that
What's your hashtag? What's your Madagascar memory?
my Madagascar memory is that there was some movie that me and my sisters would watch all the time that wasn't Madagascar, but the earliest teaser for Madagascar would play before the movie because it was a DVD and you couldn't skip it.
Right. Yeah.
And it was just there was no animation. It was just Ben Stiller standing in front of a map.
Yes.
I know.
Yeah.
Where it's like, look at
And it
these
was
big
like-
studded stars, and they're coming
Yeah,
in
and
to
then Chris,
voice their
and then
stuff.
Chris Rock is in it a
Yep.
little bit, but it's mostly Ben Stiller talking about what fun it's been to play a lion.
And they
oh my
always
God.
have the cardboard cutouts of their characters
Yeah.
behind them.
Yeah.
It was
Same
awesome.
thing for Over the Hedge.
True.
That's the same
It
era.
amped me up though. Like I wanted to see Madagascar. Like, it was this mysterious entity.
And he's like, wow, that guy sounds just like the character I love so much, but it's an actual human. Amazing.
You know, I remember like being jealous of like you and Eric's like DVDs collection, because my family wasn't really big on like I think DVDs were a special thing to get.
You had more of like a little pile.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas me and Eric both had like
shelves
shelves devoted,
like
and categorized,
yes, and like you had sequels and blah blah, and like I feel like for us, like movies that were like, oh, you get like 2 movies a Christmas, like, oh, you really wanted the Hunger Games. I remember my sister really wanted to get the Hunger Games for like her 12th or 13th birthday or something. I don't remember. That probably isn't correct. It's probably older than that because whatever. But like I remember like those movies that came out on DVD were like big gifts, but I feel like for other people they were just like, oh, I like this movie, it's no special occasion, it came out on DVD, I'm gonna go buy it.
Interesting.
You know, did you guys have a big collection of DVDs, Nate?
No. Actually, I don't know why I said no. We do. I wouldn't say big. I think it developed. We had this phase. So me and my siblings were in karate early on, and we lived half an hour away from the other town that had the karate studio in it, Wilmer.
Right.
We live in Benson. It was in Wilmer. And so basically there was this routine because it was every Tuesday and Thursday, I think. And so we would pick out DVDs from the library for the drive there and back. So, you know, so usually it's just like it would be a library rental.
Mm-hmm.
But then sometimes, you know, usually it's usually Christmas. I don't think we've ever bought DVDs that weren't for a Christmas present, or we did a big road trip to Texas in a van.
Right. Classic.
And I remember my mom ordered a bunch of DVDs for that.
What's the weirdest thing you think you've seen in a library? As a kid and as an adult. You ever seen anything weird in a library? I remember my sister's Girl Scout troop would always meet in the public library. That's where they would have their meetings sometimes. Oh, John's got something.
A bathtub.
You saw a bathtub in the public
What?
library. Who was bathing in the public library?
A porcelain bathtub is in the children's section, kind of like in the area where I'm not saying the area where you get like the mystery ones. I'm saying like a little 12th grade reading type of area, right?
Okay.
Yeah.
12th grade reading. In that area, there sits a bathtub, and it's a porcelain bathtub, and that was a spot because it was away from the front desk.
Mm-hmm.
So people want to get a little frisky. They go to the library.
Would it be filled with books, or is it just sitting there?
No, they had like blankets in there, pillows. Yeah.
At the library?
Okay, so it's just a storage bin, basically.
And it was just you'd lay down there, and sometimes you'd be looking for a book because you're so enthused to like trying to find new book. No, not even saying that.
Yeah, John's mom is in
You're
there.
looking for the book in your pants. And
You know,
can't find it.
I'm looking for the book on the shelves. You know, I'm reading after everything. I became good at like understanding what's it called?
Decimal system.
Yes, the
Yeah.
Dewey Decimal System.
Yeah.
And then you kind of turn up. I heard a sound. You just see two bodies in the tub. You're like, all right, I'll get this book tomorrow.
John, I bet your mom has some horror stories from the library.
She did as a teacher. She did work as a librarian for a little bit.
That's what I'm saying.
She wasn't in that library. That was a public library.
Okay,
The
so
schools have
school library is just a
individual
different ball game.
Yeah, she loved reading to them. But I think the weirdest thing that I thought, and still to think to this day, is an audiobook, where you had the book in a Ziploc bag,
Yeah.
and then with also a CD or potentially a cassette tape
Yeah.
that you'd have like a read-along book.
Right.
And I was like,
Yeah.
why would I get a book and read it while they're reading it to
I
me?
feel like that's probably pretty good for like adult literacy learning.
Yeah. Like
You're
if
just
English
kind of-
isn't your first language? Or what?
That yeah, and just like I don't know, some people have rougher
I'm reading.
childhoods.
I would always
or
get
whatever. They don't get the education.
to fall asleep. I would always have the Arthur birthday book on audio, and we put it on, and I would just fall asleep to it as a kid. I wasn't reading along. It was just listening to a story.
Just when you're walking down the street.
Yeah.
No,
there was no introduction. It was just. I think it was actually Mark Brown
View.
reading them.
Mark Brown?
Yeah, isn't he the author of Arthur?
I didn't know.
Now you
I
know.
wasn't
Funny
aware
how
of
that show is. The ending was written, and it aired.
Yeah.
Isn't that interesting? For a kids show.
What do you mean?
Did you not hear about that?
The ending was written and it aired.
So
What
the
do you mean?
ending was
Yes.
written as a book?
No, like the ending for Arthur, the TV show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, like the show ended.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
It has to end sometime. But you're
I-
saying
but
it's not. It was like a culminating
Yes.
finale
Like it
Oh.
was
to a
so
kids show. Like
culturally impactful that a good it's like a freaking Game of Thrones,
but they had to say goodbye.
but better.
And Muffy becomes a
And now
cop.
you see
that
him all.
snake.
Yeah, I never actually watched the episode.
Oh, I think it's
I'm a
actually
fake fan.
Francine. I think Muffy becomes the mayor.
Francine would be a cop.
Yeah, she would.
And Arthur's the
author.
Arthur.
No, wait, it's DW that becomes a cop because she's a snitch. That's the thing.
She's a little piggy.
Yeah, she's a snitch, so
Little
they make her into a cop, which is kind of funny.
That is kind of funny.
Yeah. Oh, that's
That's kinda
awesome.
awesome.
That's awesome. I don't.
DW the villain of the show?
Yeah.
Kind of.
I think if there were a villain, I think she is one. Yeah.
Yeah.
I always
But
thought
she learns her lessons also. But
Yeah.
apparently not enough.
who was the bigger character? But
Binky Barnes.
Binky Barnes.
Binky Barnes.
I feel like he was written as someone who you think is gonna be
But then he plays the clarinet.
exactly
Yep.
showing that tough guys play the clarinet.
Ain't so tough.
You can be a woodwind.
He doesn't. He's
fine.
not really a tough. It's just it's just his shape. His
Right,
shape.
no.
The visual language of the way
Yes.
he's constructed is like stereotypical, but then subverts it pretty easily with
Doesn't he
just
have-
the fact that he's just like a normal. I don't know, big strong kid, but like.
Doesn't he have a Boston accent?
What?
Is that not? Is that not?
Yeah, clip that.
I
No,
think
I don't
he
think.
does.
No, he doesn't have a Boston accent.
No, I think he just has a little bit of like a.
I think he's just kind of like, hey guys.
Some people just sound. Some people just have a unique little accent all their own.
Yeah, like
I
me,
Not really.
like you.
Maybe. I don't
No.
know. Maybe.
How do you think I would be perceived if I was the same person, but I had?
No.
I was.
That's not the one.
I wouldn't.
All right,
I
so
wouldn't.
let's do this
I
one
would
instead.
not proceed.
All right, let's do this one instead. Did you want to go with that?
No, I don't know.
Okay. Did you guys ever so like your CDs
Guys, you know what I finished that question was? It was.
Yeah, shove it down our
It
throats.
was. How would I be perceived if I was 3 feet tall?
That's nothing.
And I'm glad that we shut it down.
probably
Yeah,
probably
I had to bring it
probably
back.
like this.
Yeah, that's how we perceive.
Guys,
What does that mean?
It doesn't mean anything. Back to Nate's question.
So did you guys ever have CD? So as a little kid, right, you got the CDs in a pile, and maybe you're too lazy to put it back in the right case, and so you kind of got a stack going.
Yeah.
But then you realize at some point that one of your favorite CDs got a big old scratch in it.
Okay.
And now you can't listen to it, or the song.
I would use the piss
the
trick.
What?
Yep.
Use the piss trick. You piss on the CD,
Yep.
and then it fixes it.
Never heard about that,
It's
Nate?
the ammonia.
Your
No.
pee fills in the crack.
There's a reaction that happens.
It brings out the best.
It
in
doesn't
you.
work
I
every
wanna-
time,
I
but
wanna
like it
believe you.
works.
It works, yeah.
It works.
Did you also, besides the piss trick, did you also have?
You have to take.
Well,
you have to
get it-
whip it out, and you have to pee directly onto it.
No,
can't
you have to
pee in a
get it.
cup
No,
and
no,
pour
no,
it
no.
or
You're
anything.
wrong. You're forgetting a step. You have to get it through the hole in the CD first, and then.
like you put it up like this, and like the shiny side's up,
Wait.
and you shoot it fountain like through the.
Yeah, and then you have to catch it through the hole.
It's there is a magical element to the
Yes.
process. As
You have
well.
to believe.
It's a, yeah. I like to talk a lot about alchemy,
Yeah, this guy likes
Different-
alchemy.
Similar.
different pagan rituals.
Yep. Something about Christmas.
Something about Christmas. There's something back
There's
in the
something
past.
just it's just in the air.
A forgotten memory.
Where's the
God.
weirdest place you pissed?
Oh, on top of your shit.
Oh, okay.
Under a bridge.
That's true. That's pretty fucking weird. And we don't need to tell. We don't need to go any further into that. But
I was gonna say let's go further into that because I don't have one.
No.
no,
I'll think of a different place
Okay.
that I
no,
pissed. That's better.
no.
Probably just the classic bottle,
I've never pissed in a bottle.
in the car.
Never done it.
It feels wrong.
Did they not pull over? Was it just not available? Like, what was the issue? Were you
Can't do
over
it.
the age of 15?
Mom said, "Grab the bottle. Grab the water bottle. Piss in the water bottle." She didn't say piss, but
That sucks.
Were you? Did you
I
turn
was-
away from your siblings? Like, what? First question:
Do you have
Were
a
you over the
blanket?
age of 15? Were you over the age of 15?
I'm not positive on that. I don't think I was.
Why is it 15?
I don't know. I just feel like 15's kind of
I
where like
definitely wasn't.
you know what puberty is, and like you're like, my dick is a little weird, and like,
Maybe
you know.
now that you say it, I do remember feeling some shame and being like, "My cock's out here.
Yeah.
Just the rest of my family's here, and I'm pissing in a bottle."
Yeah.
I might have been like 15.
Everybody could hear
16.
the
Oh,
And
I
then-
would be able to do it. I don't think I would.
Dude,
You get a little shy, but he had to pee really bad apparently.
and then it's literally you're feeling it because it warms up the bottle, so you're literally feeling it's warm.
Yeah, it sucks. I have an idea.
Yep.
Yep.
For a weird. I didn't pee.
Right.
I didn't pee. A weird place that I tried to pee and couldn't. It was
Yep.
the black hole at Wild Mountain. There was a challenge. I don't know if you were there,
Okay.
but we were at Wild Mountain.
Is this
and
in Duluth?
It's on the. No, it's not at Duluth.
But
No,
it's-
that's the edge. Wild Mountain is an outdoor summer-only water park here in the state of Minnesota.
Never.
Wild Mountain. That's fine.
Okay,
I'll tell
yeah,
the story.
I'll just imagine
The
it.
black hole is a like vertical or like almost vertical drop water slide that
Yep.
just like
Oh, yeah.
shoots you in like a little bit into the hillside and then out into the pool. Like
Okay.
so it's just like a drop
Yeah.
into this like tube that just like gently.
How is that safe?
It's probably not. But the challenge was, can you piss in the midst of the G
So
forces?
wait.
takes,
So
like-
as you're dropping,
Yeah.
this is within matters of seconds.
Yeah,
you
I
have to
was just
whip
gonna
your
say.
dick out.
You don't have to whip your dick.
just gotta
you
piss?
just
Oh,
pee your pants. It's
Oh,
a trunk
your
situation.
pants.
Like you're peeing in
Hmm.
any pool, which is something that I never really did, but I did try and take the plunge and do the challenge of peeing my pants on the water
Did other
slide.
people successfully do it? Who were you there with? What's happening? Who's coming up with it? Is this a thing? Is this like a tradition? Do the pool maintenance people know that people are
I've been-
pissing
okay.
themselves while going down this water slide?
Wild Mountain is like a little bit past where my dad's side of the family cousins live in Cambridge,
Okay.
which is like a little bit north central,
Yep.
where it's like farmland and whatever.
Right.
So it was like those cousins who like some of them are my age, some of them are older, and I think it was something.
And they had
like
heard
that.
tale.
Somebody came up with the idea. Somebody who was probably a lot older than me.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm thinking that the workers know that this is happening on the daily.
Well, I don't know to what extent this is like Wild Mountain lore. Like, take the piss plunge. Take the piss plunge on the black hole.
I want to make a Wild Mountain lore. I'd do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know if I could. I couldn't then, but maybe now. I'm a grown up now.
I feel
Maybe
like now
I can.
it's like it's like a crime.
So
like
were
a
you
good
like
kid.
you were going down and you're like piss.
Well, yeah, I was trying to open my heart to the idea of pissing. Close my eyes.
You
and
do
piss.
really have to open your heart if you want to piss.
That's true.
Well, yeah. Try and piss right now.
I can't. My heart's not in it.
No, it's not.
No,
It's
you can't.
impossible
You
to
can't.
open.
Can't
Okay,
do
let's
it.
talk about this though. The mechanics of creating a piss stream coming out of your piss hole has to start before you drop.
Yep.
Because how long is this?
Free
ride?
fall.
Like 10 seconds.
No, you have to do it before in the
It's
free
just,
fall.
can you convince your body to piss?
I bet I could piss right now.
I kind of want you to. I don't know why. Like,
No.
There's no taboo against that here.
Right now. I don't.
Uh,
I don't
We're
wanna
getting
go
into.
there.
We're getting.
I was about to say I don't
We're
think
getting
you
into
can.
weeds. We're getting into some shaky territory here. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't need to piss now, but just know that I could.
This is a very different podcast. You start pissing all over. it.
yeah, that'd be weird. Huh. So yeah.
How about them
Should we,
bikes?
can we return to anything that we've?
I have a next destination, but we can.
Oh no, go ahead.
So this is going to be a completely different destination.
Yep.
We're taking you on a journey tonight, folks. Talking about some new technology, some new VR technology.
Oh, yep, I know this.
Told Preston about this.
I know this.
There's a man who has developed a deadly VR set where basically you strap this headset on and it has 3 explosive charges placed on the top of it. And it's like hooked up to a game where if you die in the game, those charges go off and your head explodes.
Yeah.
So you die in real life.
Yeah.
So
With that. All
Yeah.
right, with that.
that's the current version, and he's now developing a new version that once the headset is put on, you cannot take it off. Yeah.
So if I want to go piss
Right. You got to do it
in the game.
in the game.
Now, this is very interesting to me, and I'd like to talk about some fine art. What this is bringing about in my mind is that there is I believe, a Scandinavian apparel-based artist who makes these clothes that you can put them on, but were you to try and take them off, they would
Hurt you?
They would kill or maim you.
What?
It's a glove where it's like it's filled with spikes, so your hand can go in it.
Oh,
but were
my
you
God.
to take it off, it would shred your arm.
So
it's like it's saying something about like restraint or whatever. Just like
Right.
and what you
It's
wear
just-
is who you are or
it's-
something?
no, I think it's just that like this is a usable object that they've made or whatever,
Right.
but it's like you cannot like to give it to allow it to serve its function would cause you irreparable harm. There's something weird and
Yeah.
interesting about that.
Mhm.
And I think it's sort of the same. It's also kind of like that's the simulation that we all live in as far as simulation theory is that we are in some way an avatar walking around, but it can end. There is some kind of like
Death.
you can die.
In the simulation.
I don't know. So it's like
Just the next level.
you're basically if you're putting on that headset that you can't take off, and if you lose, you die, you are transitioning to a completely different form of life, and you
Right.
would take on a completely different
Interesting.
way of being that
Interesting.
sounds shitty. And
Yes.
I would not allow that object to serve its function. And I
basically-
don't think it's designed to. Like I don't think anybody's going to put that on, are they?
No.
No.
But his rationale behind it is that no one's getting the real gaming experience
it gets you thinking
until you like be in the game, and it's these decisions that you're making are actually life and death.
Mhm.
That's the real gaming
Yeah.
experience.
No respawns, baby.
But that doesn't seem like gaming anymore, right?
Right,
Gaming
no,
is like
that's
to be like,
just life.
I think
It's not a game.
yeah,
It's the game. of
there's
life.
not. It's yeah. I think it does cease to be a game because I think that a game.
it's supposed to like take you somewhere else or like be
Well,
an escape or
I've studied a lot of game design and theory and whatever, and I think that a game requires replayability, even if it wouldn't be fun to play it lots and lots of times. It's like I don't think that it really qualifies as a game if, in the event of a loss, you are no longer capable of playing
right.
anymore. So that's why I don't think like if you say like life is a game, that doesn't really make sense.
I think that's I think that saying is very like stupid.
I think it's a little like, sure, life doesn't have. I don't know. I don't want to get too in the weeds on that, but like, yeah, that doesn't sound like a game to me. It's a VR thing, but I don't think it qualifies. I think it is.
How long do you think you'd last? What kind of game is this?
I don't know.
Oh,
That sounds horrible. I mean, and I think that any brain would sort of reject the game and probably try and navigate their actual physical surroundings
Right.
to try and like search for help and escape that.
right. Like cut it off some way or something.
Yeah, I don't know.
Hmm.
You know,
Interesting.
Yeah, I feel like
Criminal Minds should pick that up and like be like, oh, somebody like straps this thing
Right,
onto
and they're like,
somebody's head, and then they have to do
hurry, we need to help him.
You have to play the game. There's nothing we can do.
Bro.
that. Yeah, you have to win the game.
Yeah.
And we brought in a gamer coach to coach you.
Yeah.
You know,
It's an
that's what it
esports
would
coach.
do. But I think
Yeah.
that's not the most
It's
interesting thing
PewDiePie.
you can do with the idea.
PewDiePie.
Yeah, he just got passed,
Right.
by the way, by Mr. Beast for most subscribed YouTube channel. What do you think about that
I think that's a well-deserving. I think that's
title?
that's an appropriate passing of the mantle.
Yes, I think so too. I think it's like he's had his time and now it's someone else's time.
As far as the culture of the internet
Yes,
and the amassing of the masses
yes,
to your side,
yes,
it does make sense. Mr. Beast does a lot.
yes. He's not so
It's like
crazy.
it's like, what if a billionaire just grinded the fuck out of everything?
yeah.
I don't understand.
Like, what
it.
if the billionaire took him every side quest he could take?
Every side quest he could take just gives away and makes all this fucking content, and I don't know what to think about it.
Really?
Honestly. No,
I
I
mean,
don't know what to think about it.
I don't really know what to think about spectacle for content. You know, like we're doing this thing big because then they just, every time they push it further and like now it's like, oh, we're launching 1 million fireworks. It's like, okay,
Yeah, I mean, there's a power creep problem. You know about power creep?
no,
Or like you always have to if you're
Yeah,
if
just
you're,
like one up
if
each-
you're
its
if
son.
you're the writer of Dragon Ball Z,
okay,
there always has to be another level of Super Saiyan that Goku can tap into, and another
Right.
layer of insanity that you put onto like the abilities of the whatever to just raise the stakes, up the ante.
or else
Up
you've seen
the-
it 1 million times or whatever.
Because that's just I think that's not a necessary vehicle of like storytelling. I think that it's a hole that you can write yourself into, and it's a way to make your story entertaining to
Yeah.
a certain audience and in a certain way
Right.
of like making it like the power of like how insanely powerful this is, and then you're just layering it and you're making it seem like it's important or whatever.
Yeah.
But I kind of lost the plot.
So Mr. Beast is the power creep.
Mr. Beast, well, I think that what most big like what's clickbaiter
Yeah.
stuff is not just power creep of like how do we top what we just
Right.
did and like double down on it, but it's like there's also pivoting. It's pivoting, and we're trying to tap a different little idea, trying to like, I don't know. Mr. Beast has talked. I've seen a couple clips of like the idea forming process, and also just all the people who like work for that machine of like video ideas.
Did you see that Mr. Beast wants to do a video? Maybe you saw it. What the hell? That he wants to go up to someone in the parking lot and tell them that for every minute they stand in that spot, they get $1, and they can't move. He wants to like. It's getting to a point where he wants to like push, like, rationale and like human like tendencies and like all this stuff.
To see how far
Like people will go
people will
for. Like, it is weird.
Okay, $1 a minute.
Something like that. Yeah.
$1 a minute in a parking spot. I'd call up my loved ones and I'd say, "Bring me my things." And it's $60 an hour. You definitely want to make it like a safe place to like sleep, and then you just do like
No, you can't sleep. You have to stand.
to stand.
The circle is like.
Can you walk?
well, like foot by foot.
It's
One
like I think
by
it's
one
like
foot.
confined in there. You have to like stand.
I don't know. Anyways,
Whatever. I'm just saying that
It's like-
he wants to like
yeah,
keep pushing.
I don't know. I don't really like the bamboozlement thought experiments and like the
right.
bamboozlement social experiments. I think that they're mostly
Unethical.
or just yeah.
Yeah.
That is what it. That
Yeah.
is what I'm thinking, but like not worthwhile.
No.
And like especially when it relates to Mr. Beast's like heavy reliance on our like idolization of money.
Right. It's like he's like
And,
like
like,
I have all this money.
currency,
And
and
what
it's
are you
like-
willing to do?
And
for
what's
it?
the weirdest shit I could do with it to make you entranced by the amount of money that I'm throwing around?
right?
You know, what's the weirdest shit that I could do to throw around this money? And it's also just so profitable as like the biggest form of children's content in the world. Like that seems fucked.
Yeah.
That is like, what if instead of watching SpongeBob, you watched literally like, it's so strange
Yeah.
to me.
It is weird that like that is like what it's almost, but like that's the thing is like that's almost what like content is like shifting to.
Yeah.
Is like the like pivoting of what you were talking about and like almost like the
Yeah.
power creep topping whatever.
Like,
and, like
humor takes too much talent for you to churn out content at the
Yes.
rate that you need to
stay relevant.
stay relevant
yeah.
and literally be like keeping up with your stakeholders. Like Mr. Beast is such a
True.
fucking
Yeah.
business, and capitalist corporations that go public and have stakeholders and people telling you what to do require growth to continue. They
yes.
increasing their returns and increasing profits and increasing size is a necessity of all the social media platforms, all the shit like that. And they just have to tap into, there always has to be a new market to tap into, a new need that needs to be like fulfilled or fixed. So you're creating problems so that your product can solve them. You're making like YouTube content more accessible or quicker, and like TikTok is so quick and whatever.
Yeah.
So that like the average consumer of media can spend more hours of their day consuming.
Right.
the media.
That's the end goal with all those apps.
Yeah, is that we can tap into a new part of your day. You know, I think that that's sort of a business model maybe behind like the Calm apps and like the sleep and the Good Morning apps. Also, is that
Like-
you're tapping into a time of day that people might not have otherwise been on their phone
Right.
or whatever.
I do have a problem with that. Like I wake up on the days I don't have to go to work or whatever. Like I'll wake up and I'll easily spend just like an hour to 2 hours in my bed.
Me too.
Like just, because I don't really have anything planned for that day or whatever. So like, I don't really have a reason to get up. But like, I could get up and do something.
Right.
Yeah.
It's almost like knocking down my productivity. Almost.
I don't want to get too fucked and negative on this beautiful pod,
True.
but it is. Yeah, it's fucked. I don't like it.
There's a new little method that I'm trying that I heard on. Guess where I heard it on?
The thing you're trying to
Exactly.
dismantle.
Yes. So basically, the method is like if there's anything that you think you should be doing, or like that you have to do that you don't want to do, or you should be doing that you don't want to do. It's easier just to stay as you are. to get yourself to do that thing, count down from 6 to 1.
The most numberous number.
Yep. And then you will be, because you've like prepared yourself and there's like a separation, like you're counting yourself down, and it's just apparently it's like it's been way easier to like do stuff.
So to like
get out of bed
to give yourself a
and, like,
Mario Kart countdown,
right,
gets
little
you
race.
rearing and ready to go.
Or like, you know, this dishwasher is freaking full right now. I don't want to put it away.
I've heard a strategy where
And
like
6, 5, 4,
something
3,
if it
2,
takes
1.
you under 2 minutes, just go do it. Like if you can complete the thing you need to do within 2 minutes, go do it, and then that'll be a little start off to then doing other things.
Oh, yeah, that's a good one.
Your what was your?
Well, I was gonna say I'd like a watch with a button that I can press, and when I press it, it does the Mario Kart countdown, and then starts the music.
Right.
And then I have until the end of the song. Yeah, exactly. It does that, and then I'm scurrying, and I'm scurrying, and I'm
Scary.
And it's a
I'm
real life
scurrying about-
soundtrack.
and I'm doing it, and I'm doing whatever the thing
Spin
is.
your wheels.
What if you had to speed run your whole routine? How fast do you think you get your morning routine done? If you had to speed run it.
Don't have one of those. Don't have one.
John?
Everything I need to get done in the day is done in between the times of 7:30 and 10:30.
In the morning?
Practically, yeah. In the morning, or if I come home after work, then it's done late at night.
You guys ever seen how fast you could take a shower?
Yep.
I can do
It's
it
the
in like 2
worst.
minutes.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, same.
Yeah.
All right, let's talk about quality of shower at 2 minutes long.
I'm not talking about quality.
I've taken shorter when it's like.
No way, really? In 2 minutes? I feel like 2 minutes is pretty fast.
Patrick doesn't you're-
wash his hair, I bet. Do you wash
Well, no, that's not what I'm talking. I'm talking about when I'm a kid and I'm at the RV park
Yep. RV
with my
park.
grandparents, and the shower is
Bustling.
fucking cold
Oh,
as hell.
cold.
So I have to just minimize time to save my life.
Yeah.
Also, I've heard a thing that can get you motivated, speaking of showers, is taking a cold shower for 1 minute.
I've tried it.
Yeah.
You hear that, Nate?
I
We're like, if you
can't-
can
kinda like it.
withstand a minute of a cold shower,
It's like really, really good for you.
you can withstand like anything basically. Like if you're like, all right, 15 seconds left, I got this. Like
Just
apparently it's supposed to like put you into like this mindset.
I kind of enjoy a cold shower. It's a nice actual way to like wake up a little bit.
Apparently
I
that's
don't
how you're
know.
supposed to end your showers. You can do a warm shower, but if you do like 1 minute cold, apparently that's how you're supposed to end it.
That's cool.
it has a lot of health benefits.
How though? What is it? Why?
It improves blood circulation.
Because your blood has to work harder.
Probably, yeah. I think it also increases your metabolism.
I feel like putting your body into survival mode without your brain going into fight or flight mode of like a panic attack is probably good for your body in some
Right.
sense of like, okay, we're alive. My
That's like, I mean,
body's
that's what
alive.
working out is basically.
Yeah, yeah.
It's also like intermediate fasting or intermittent fasting.
Yeah. I feel like what kind of feels a little silly and sad for me about all this stuff is it's like we're tricking our body into thinking that we're like
Something we're not.
alive or healthy or like an animal that is like living in the way that it was designed.
Mm-hmm.
Like we're tricking
That
our
is
body.
sad.
We're tricking our body
Wait.
into thinking
Yeah.
that we are living as the body was
Intended to
is
live.
intended, not designed, but like intended or like whatever to operate.
Right.
Whoa, that's
Like
weird.
we're trying to get it to do the things and perform the tasks and activities to keep itself healthy and do the things that it would normally have to do if we were just like a biological thing.
Because our bodies haven't had enough time for evolution to take its course to keep up with how fast we
Oh.
can develop technology
Crazy.
that is changing our world.
Yeah.
And so our bodies, like I don't know enough about this to talk about this, but I just
I don't know enough about anything on this podcast. To talk
Yeah, I
about whatever
know.
we talk about, and
But
that's
it's
okay.
like I think that's why. It's because like our bodies
Yeah.
are still designed
to like
be
live in like
those
the
animals.
BCs.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that's why like all of this different processed foods, like we're all freaking unfortunately we are getting used to it, which is bad. But like our bodies like are getting used to these processed foods, but like That's why like people get sick so often, or that's why like obesity is such an issue, and like why depression and like suicide rates are up and stuff like that is because like all this technology and like we're not getting the necessary amount of ingredients for the human body that are necessary to like maintain a healthy body.
I think we're focusing a lot on physical things.
Right.
I think there's just as many or more so of like social factors that we're not receiving what our like minds are really like meant to do, which is like the closeness and like social whatever and like reliance on community that we're sort of wired to do, because that's like the main. I think more often. It's kind of fun. This is really fun to talk about because I have different thoughts and opinions about this stuff, but like I'm pretty sure the prevailing theory of like how we evolved intelligence is so that we could navigate the complex sort of communities and social systems that were sprouting up, because we had, even when you were like pre-agriculture humans, we had a little bit more free time than most animals.
Right.
Because we had shelter and still like advanced systems of gathering food and like following animals, and like the domestication of plants and animals happened a long time before.
Do you know how they did those domestications?
Agriculture.
I just watched a video on it. How humans would basically almost like study the animal, see what like, this is like BC, right? They would study the animal, right? And like basically they would pull out like the plants and stuff like that the animals weren't eating, and then like plant more of what the animals were eating, and we'd basically cultivate their habitat to like basically make it more so more animals would come in
That's awesome.
to that spot.
So it's like we were making optimal animal feed.
Yeah,
also
basically. It's like we were basically making farms without knowing it.
Cool.
Huh.
Yeah, isn't that interesting? Like they were basically like taking out the plants that they were not eating and putting more of the plants that they were eating in like a certain spot. Interesting. Isn't it?
I don't think
so then the animals just kind of became used to the humans being around.
I don't know. I don't know more about that, but I just know that the planting was a thing.
You could have Anna tell us. She took domestication.
Whoa.
That's cool.
So, something to think about here. So when you're talking about cold showers, so I did a quick search of cold showers, right? So I'm not sure if it actually does your metabolism, but the overall is it increases your endorphins, which is essentially what every other person here is saying, that endorphins is the basis of what a cold shower does. So it even has mental health benefits to the fact of depression. Depression decreases your endorphins, right?
What's an endorphin? Like stimuli?
Your feel-good hormone?
Oh. Yeah, essentially, it's like a gentle like electroshock therapy. So the feeling of optimism comes up through that, but moving forward, you do have a strict point of just as like what Nate was saying, just as how like.
Okay, no,
Whoop, sorry.
Sorry, I was thinking of dopamine.
Yeah. Dopamine, true.
Endorphin's an overarching term.
Well, all those things are like, yeah, I think it kind of goes back to what we were talking about with like, there are a lot of methods now to cope with the world that we've created. It sort of feels like we're tricking our bodies and minds into producing the right chemicals. I think it's kind of sad that we understand all those different brain chemicals and things, and we're trying to like circumvent the processes that technology has created for us to try and, when I really think that like there were ways and are ways that like you can get the natural sense of that. And I don't think there's anything wrong with medication, obviously, because people are in the situations that they are in. But there's also like human intimacy in all the different ways that all the different forms of human intimacy are really good for getting your endorphins and getting like the proper, like that is the original source is like that kind of stimulus and brain prompting itself to like have that.
Right.
Is like even stuff like this where we're just trying to have like some kind of genuine conversation.
Mm-hmm.
Would you guys ever try acid?
Not right now.
I don't think so.
Because you know,
I'd rather
like
do yoga.
what about acid yoga?
No, I saw something. There was some mushrooms documentary where the mushrooms guy who loved mushrooms was like, if you want to go fast, drop some shrooms. If you want to go the slow way, then you can like meditate and do yoga and like
Go fast. What does
Consider-
that mean?
apparently you open your fucking third eye. If
And
you
you
want to
go
do it fast, you can just do
Oh,
a mushroom
okay.
trip. If you want to like go the slow way of seeing
like-
through the veil or
yeah.
whatever the fuck, then you just kind of
I think I would try acupuncture.
It's not bad.
try acupuncture. Sure.
Yeah.
I would love acupuncture. Maybe it would fix my jaw problems.
I have jaw problems too. What do you think that says about us?
I also.
We would clench our jaws a lot.
I have a mouth guard for at night, so I don't grind
Yeah,
my
I
teeth.
can't fall asleep with mine, so I don't use it very much.
You should. You'll save your teeth in the long run. My dad has grind down his front teeth to nubbins,
That sucks.
Nubbins.
so he has fake front teeth. Nubbins.
Yeah. To plant a caveat on all the weird shit that we're talking about. In my opinion, I don't think it's like unhealthy for us to talk about things that we're not really like experts in,
No,
things that are interesting to us.
I think it's good to explore
I
those
think it's-
thoughts.
Yeah, I think it's really good to explore those thoughts, especially in a good place with good buddies.
Yeah.
Good old buddies.
I think I've talked about this before, but that whole idea of just wondering something and
Wonderment.
saying, what if, has been lost because of our connection to the internet and all infinite knowledge at the palm of our hand. And we're never just like, I wonder why it's this way. Well,
Yeah.
let's think about it. Instead, like,
I feel like I have
now
those
we're like,
thoughts a lot.
well,
Yeah.
yeah, but you can
I'd-
just look it up instantly. And then that thought has been concluded because you know the answer.
No,
Where
I
it's
don't.
like-
I don't like to
Yeah.
do that. I like to just pose it and then.
Like, what if?
You like to say things that you can't Google.
Yeah, it's just like
Yeah.
You like to you say some
the producer
ungoogleable
would know.
shit. Yeah.
Preston
I
definitely does say like what if this couch just went on fire? Just like,
Can't Google that.
you can't Google that.
Like I remember I was like we were like doing something with like electricity or like we were some of the light bulb and like why electricity, like
Yeah.
what?
those questions I love asking myself. Just as like I'm staring at this computer right now, like you said today, as computers just math.
Yeah, computers are just math.
And I mean, like when you really think about it, it is kind of makes you appreciative of what it is, but then also kind of blows your mind a little bit, which I think we do need something in our lives to
Right.
blow your mind a little bit.
Yeah.
So like why I love STEM stuff like or physics like or calculus or whatever. Yeah, I could look up the right answer, but it was on me to
find it.
to figure it out. It was like I have the tools here. I wonder what if this is the way to go, or like Scrabble. Why Scrabble's such a fun game, because you're sitting there trying to develop whatever words in your brain of your used vocabulary really to create the most points. I'm like, I wonder what is this a word? Is
Your
it-
thoughts? Words with Friends Master?
What I don't like about Words with Friends, and I play it a lot,
Yes.
is that if I can't find the best word,
You will quit the game,
no, I'll close the app. I'll come back in an hour.
right?
I refuse because it tells you before
That there's, like, a better
It tells you
word?
before you click it whether you have the best maxed out. word or not.
No. Oh, that
So-
would fuck with you.
I don't. It's like a weird perfectionism.
What do you think the longest time you've sat on a move? Couple days?
Like a week.
Whoa.
I play the other games. Well, I only play this game for like,
Yeah, it's
3
like
weeks
it's not
at
you're
a
not playing
time.
it for like a long
It's one
time.
of your little. It's one of your little
brain
mini
filler games.
Brain filler, exactly. But yeah, I don't think that's very good.
I've tried to turn my brain
It's not-
filler game into
I don't-
Duolingo.
I don't think that's very. Yeah, that's cool too. I don't think that's very good for my brain. Shit like that, is bad.
I think what you're saying about Preston quickly referenced this is like, would you ever do acid? And I think with these classic hallucinogens,
Mhm.
I think that it offers you the wonder of what if. some people experience that the first couple times, getting high, it's really mild, but when you go on acid, it is that wonder if, right? But the problem with acid is that it can flip two things. It could be curiosity or fear.
Right.
And there's no way of controlling that unless you're in a stable place before that even happens.
And I have a really overactive like fear, and like one of my main symptoms of like my panic disorder and anxiety shit is like impending doom and just like incessant fear feeling, like my body and like what I feel I can describe as fear, but it's not necessarily of anything. My brain is always looking to like figure out what I'm so scared of at the moment and so
and then
anxious
does that
about.
almost scare you more?
Well, yeah, and part of the like medical definition of panic disorder is also like is the fear of having a panic attack getting in the way of your life.
Yeah.
And my life right now, my brain, my mental health right now doesn't fit the criteria of panic disorder. It's because I have
Worked on it.
Well, yeah, I don't know. There's a lot of therapy and it's more generalized anxiety, and I have the tools and like emotional awareness and whatever. And there's a lot of stuff that goes into that.
Right.
I'm just in a different place, but it's still like, I don't think that those things are like right for my mental state, as open to it as I am. And I feel I like to think that I'm a pretty chill guy,
Right.
trapped in a very anxious brain, as far as like what my ideals and like opinions of the world are. But then there's a like conflict with like the way my brain, like my intrusive thoughts
Right.
sort of operate.
I don't think acid is a good answer for anybody.
No, I don't think.
I think that's the simple question. I think that's a simple answer to a simple question.
Agreed, because why should we? I think there is some insight, yes, of like taking something, some form of, can I use the word hallucinant or narcotic?
You can use
Well,
it
yeah.
all you want.
Hallucinogen.
Of taking something where
Psychedelic.
there is like, oh, I can be able to find my inner love or a little deeper insight of what's going on, right? But I believe that we were designed as what we've used before, that we are here right now in a way that we can figure that ourselves using the tools around us instead of using an inducing.
Yeah.
And I think it's not to say that experience it could change your life and you could think of the world differently. I think it maybe is a valuable experience. But I think we should try to, at most, try every possibility of using our own brain and using our own initiative to try to figure that out. And I obviously understand that might not be possible.
Yeah. I guess that my personal opinion based on my own experience is that I would prefer for my brain to use like fostering interpersonal relationships and like different forms of intimacy and love and stuff, and like behavioral therapy of like kind of trying to figure out how to be okay with the present and where I'm at, as opposed to like that feels very low risk, very like I have a plan, I have a trajectory, very doable. I would rather go to be with nature for a month and try and have a profound experience rather than.
And I bet you would too.
Yeah, I think it would be awesome to like have some kind of like I think I think back on our little trip that like me, Eric, Cole, and Matt went to Montana, and we were off the grid for 4 days, and we were walking out in the whatever, and like that wasn't that long, and it's kind of like a pretentious little thing to like bring up all the time, but like it was really cool in a lot of ways, and like not the most profound or like incredible ways, but it was just like it was nice to be able to do that and just kind of resonate with
I think
the world a little bit more, not in a perfect way, but like in the best way that we can.
I think that's why like a lot of people like Nate, for example, like I think that's why, and maybe this doesn't even relate to it. Maybe I'm just reaching for straws here or whatever. But I think that's why you appreciate like a small town or like a smaller community or like more space or more I don't even know. Like more freedom almost from like a city, you know?
Yeah.
There's more opportunities to like get that, what do you call it? Like detachment, or like get that, I don't know. Like there's more opportunities to like disconnect from society and kind of just do your own thing.
Yeah. Your environment is less, which is sometimes more.
Right.
And I think it makes you appreciate the little things more. Like I think here there's so much to do that it's more instead of like oh, there's so much to do because there is more to do. It's thought of what am I missing? Like what am I missing out on?
It's
what
like
are the things that I'm not doing?
There's a rush to get to the next thing.
Yes.
And I think that sucks.
Yep. And you're not appreciating the things that you have and are currently doing, and like this, and like I don't know. I get that a lot. I feel like I am doing that more often, and maybe it's just because like I don't have school to worry about now, and
Right.
I have a career to worry about. But there's so many like times in my like day to day where I just feel empty, and I'm like, what am I doing?
Jesus.
Like I should be doing something right now.
Right.
I should be working on something. I should be like getting more jobs, like doing all this stuff, and I never like appreciate where I'm at in the moment.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just thinking about all the things that I could be doing,
Right.
even though I can't be doing them, which is the worst part. Is like I can't physically. Well, most of the time I can't really do anything about it.
Well, and you're not. Whether I mean, like, I don't know.
What do you mean?
You're doing as much as you are doing.
Right.
You're in the spot wherever you are at. You're safe. You know, I don't know.
Mhm.
You'd have a lot of fun things that we like to all do together and whatever. And I don't know.
I'm a big firm believer in like yeah, you are where you're meant to be,
Mhm.
you know, and you're doing what you're supposed to be doing, and you know whatever happens will happen, and like
Yeah.
it always works out.
I think that really takes the heat off. And I think as privileged as the positions of like we are safe and
Right.
cool,
Yeah.
and I think we can appreciate that, and it takes the heat off, and it's like there's no rush to become whoever we're
Right.
going to be,
Because we already
you know.
are.
And even though, you know, I want to set myself up and like be learning about myself and understanding, and like I think that's useful for like caring about myself and conducting myself the way that I want to.
Mm-hmm.
But it's also about like, yeah, what you said. Now there's
Yeah, like it'll
This is
just
where-
be what it'll be.
this is what it is.
Yeah, like I think about that a lot. Like, you know, everything happens for, and like it is just so dumb. Like some of these cliches, like everything happens for a reason. You are where you're meant to be. Like blah blah blah.
I don't think everything happens for a reason.
I think everything.
And I wouldn't
think
say you are where you're meant to be. I think it's just as meaningful for me to say like you are where you are, and that's,
changes the connotation for you.
I mean, no, it doesn't change it that much. It's just that like wherever you are is made lovely and whatever, and like you can't change it. Like I don't know.
Right.
It's the cards that you were dealt with, and you got to figure out how to play the next best.
Yeah, well,
move.
even if you dealt them to yourself, like you can say it's where I am is technically the result of the past and whatever, but dwelling on that is fairly unhelpful most of the time.
It's like a realist's position than an optimist's position
Yeah,
on the matter.
I guess so.
So mine's more optimistic. What's that?
Yes.
Oh.
I would say so.
Oh,
Being
let's
like
go.
you are where you are is a realist,
Yeah.
and you're here for a reason is an optimist.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think that I guess so, because it's like you have a fresh, wherever you are, the future is fresh, the past is behind you, you're just right there. So if I think that with that mindset, you don't have anything really to, like, theoretically, not as much to be dwelling on and stressing about,
Mm-hmm.
I guess.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you say, thanks past for getting me wherever I am. I'll future, wait a second, I'll be there in a second, but I'm right here, and whatever brought me to that is cool, and you can relish that moment, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah.
I think one thing that I think I've started to realize, and I think a lot of like people our age don't really realize, is the amount of college is a really like fun time and a very fulfilling time because there are so many new things happening to you.
Right.
And you have to get to navigate all these different situations that you've never been put into. And I think that at our age, after high school and now like we're kind of into our careers a little bit and we've started to experience that stuff, I think one thing about like, I think for me at least, like I'm not experiencing as many new things as I used to be. And I think that is having an impact on how fulfilling my life feels to me.
Interesting.
And I think like, I mean,
like you equated those new like experiences to like conquering them or figuring out, solving the puzzle, whatever, dealing with them, and then that was fulfilling.
I think so, and I think it's completely unconscious. I don't think it's like this is a new thing that's so fun. It's this is a new thing. It might not be fun, but it's a new thing that is stimulating for your brain.
Right.
And I think that like impacts you and like what was I gonna say? I had a thought. Anyway, so all of this to say, like, I think that we should do more new things with our lives. And I think one of the things that I was going to say is like, I think with when we get into these careers that most people are in, it's that one thing that you're doing, right? And for me, like that's cinematography, and I love cinematography and I love learning about it. But like whenever I have a free moment, I'm always like, cinematography, like learn more about it, figure out everything there is to know, like practice it, whatever.
Right.
But it's not new anymore. And so now it's just like pounding my head with all this new stuff it's not really an enjoyable process anymore because it's not a new subject, I guess. And so I think even if there's stuff that we don't think in our logical minds is going to be fun or entertaining or rewarding for us, I think we should do those things, even things that scare us, because I think it'll help us fulfill or live more fulfilling lives.
Yeah, I think that on a macro level, that like sense of being a lifelong learner is really cool, and trying to be like a diverse sort of have a nice diverse experience of
multiple
life.
Interests that are not in the same realm.
Yeah, exactly, and like do what is fulfilling to you. I think on a micro level, I feel like my brain is very hyper stimulated, and like there's always too much new for me to really like settle or feel anything. And I think that's sort of by the design of the system to sort of take advantage of that human sense of like wanting to feel connected to new information and new activities and new things. And I think that there's like, it's too much of a good thing to the point where it stifles the original good thing.
Right.
Like it gets in the way of what you're saying and what you want to be getting at, of like having genuine diverse experience, because you can't really get into anything if you're incessantly overstimulated by all the fucking shit. All the fucking shit.
Fucking shit. Guys, and tonight has just been a whole lot of fucking shit. And we appreciate
that would have been a lot funnier if we hadn't lost the first 13 minutes and we would have kept rolling on that
I
train.
thought of that. I'm like,
and we did.
I don't think any of this would have happened,
We
but
did. Those 13 minutes were a black hole in time that never
lost the time.
existed.
I think I said some of the funniest shit I've ever said in my whole life. Not actually, but like,
and you can.
You'll never know. You will never know.
You can find that content on our Patreon. Subscribe to our Patreon, $5 a month. That actually doesn't exist yet, but you can subscribe to our Twitch channel and our YouTube channel, and you can follow our socials on Instagram and
TikTok.
And we're not experts on anything.
Yeah, just
we're not
disclaimer.
experts on anything, but we're.
I might think that I'm like a expert on like game design shit,
Right. We're not experts on everything,
which we talked about for about 4
but
minutes.
we are
so-
novelists on everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There we go.
And
All
with
right.
that, have a good night and stay
Oh, true.
for after hours.
We'll be back in 5 to 10 minutes. Don't go anywhere.
And we're going to be on acid.